This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/get started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get started.
I mean, truly awful.
I could not have respected my time less.
Right? Right. What was with the whole fucking losing the farm bullshit?
Never mattered. Never. No. Not once. Not one time.
Nope. Dude, I said hold him.
I'm holding him.
Guys, what is with the box?
Let me out!
Absolutely not.
Damn it. Is Tom in there? What the
Yeah, we got him. We got him in there.
Okay, I'm going to regret even asking this, but why?
To save our podcast.
Save the podcast?
You trapped him, Tom, in a box to save our podcast.
Yeah. He was going to do an episode about the Blackest Black.
Yeah, he's staying there.
We're not
we're not sure how he was going to judge it, like by skin color or Afrocentrism, but whatever he was going to do, it was going to be a real mess. So don't worry, Heath and I set this box trap with an old-fashioned in it, and boom, he's in there now.
Podcast is saved, and we are not canceled. You're welcome.
Guys?
Yeah, Noah, what's up?
Tom's essay is about a paint color.
What now?
A paint color. Someone developed the darkest shade of black paint. That's what Tom's essay is about. Not whatever you think he was writing about, whatever you just said.
Oh, that's
Paint
a lot different.
color. That makes
paint
sense.
Makes a lot more sense with the paint color.
Okay, all right. So will you let him out?
Yeah, no, definitely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah.
Tom, you gonna come out? Tom!
I just gotta finish the old fashioned. 1 second. It's pretty good, really.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Eli Bosnick, and I'll be descending into the darkness tonight. But I'll need a lineup of colorful characters. First up, two men who love a good spite story, Noah and Cecil.
Oh, shit, man. I literally run a successful business so my last boss knows how hard he can go fuck himself.
It's true.
People are constantly accusing me of doing things out of spite, but that's stupid. I never run out of spite. I literally have so much of it.
And also joining us tonight, two men who have name-specific buying protections against them, but for very different reasons, Heath and Tom.
No idea what that means. Hello, I'm here, apparently. Is it okay to be... Is that a reference to something that happens later that we haven't talked about yet?
Is it okay to be proud of your, I think that disclaimer was just for me count? It's,
Yes, absolutely, Tom. Absolutely. So, before we begin tonight, I'd like to take a second to thank our patrons. Our patrons give us money for a free show in an act of generosity so unbelievable, I'm pretty sure we're in Unbroken Machines from Vanilla Sky. And if you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, Noah, tell us what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
We'll be talking about the Blackest Black.
And Tom, you managed to scrounge up an interesting story about watching paint dry. Are you ready to rub our noses in
well,
it?
a story this wonderfully petty is not going to tell itself, Eli.
Okay, but I'm totally doing grass growing now. Tom made that okay.
No, that's not.
He made that okay.
Grass has to be special.
All right. So tell us, Tom, what is the Blackest Black?
Okay, well, this is not, all things considered, going to be a very complicated story. Although it will involve carbon nanotubes, snobby esoteric art stuff, and wonderfully passive-aggressive Instagram fights. And it all starts...
The last part's amazing.
It's so good. It's so good. The whole thing starts in a laboratory in England called Surrey Nanosystems. Now, the folks at Surrey Nanosystems figured out a way to create a new color. Kind of.
Is it black?
What? Okay, you're... Now, the essay's ruined. That's it. Okay.
There goes the reveal in paragraph
Heath,
4.
I'm just gonna give it
Way to
away
go.
for free.
Yeah.
Eli set me up for a super funny joke, and I just yes noted, and it's really offensive and hurtful to him.
Will you explain the joke?
It's just we do silly things. Chucky. You know it. Everyone was like, "What was Eli saying?" It was just a bad part. The writing parts of this show are hard for me.
Teed me up without a golf ball, man. We didn't start the golf yet.
All right, well, they didn't really figure out a new color. What they figured out how to do is to create a material that, in all practical senses, seems to erase light. The science nerds figured out that they could create a material that was, at least in 2017, the absolute blackest black imaginable. And this creation and the pissing match that followed it is nothing short of amazing.
Waste of government time and resources. What they need to be working on is a green crayon that doesn't run out first.
Before we delve into the human drama of it all, I need to try to explain to you the big deal about the Blackest Black. First of all, in the art world, black itself is a big deal, and the quest for the richest, deepest color of black is not a new venture. There's something universally understood about the emotionality of the void, and the use of the inkiest version of black has been something artists have worked into their pieces for a very long time. But no matter how dark you think that you have seen a black color, I can promise you that you have never seen anything like what the guys at Surrey Nanosystems created.
It's so black, Candace Owens threw it under a bus.
It's so black. Any painting you use it on automatically makes 40 cents on the dollar less than other paintings.
Oh, no!
All right, it's so black. Joss Whedon removed it from the Snyder Cut.
It's so black it couldn't be applied to surfaces with a melting point below 1200 degrees because of its massive heat absorption. I'm sorry, like the rule of threes demanded that I go another way than you guys did. It's good. No, it's good.
Different
Keep
way.
doing good reversal.
All right, imagine for a moment a color of black so impossibly perfect in its blackness that it reduces whatever it coats to 2 dimensions. A color so absent reflection it defies your eyes and brain's ability to create a functional 3-dimensional image. This color is the color of void. It is the essence of absence itself, and it is, from all descriptions, a total mindfuck to look at. The way this effect is produced is by growing carbon nanotubes in a standing array like blades of grass. These carbon nanotubes are packed together. There's 1 billion of them in a square centimeter. And as Brian Jensen of Surrey Nanosystems puts it, quote, light comes in as photons, enters the top of the structure, and then the photons bounce around between the carbon nanotubes and get absorbed and converted to heat. And then the heat is dissipated through the substrate. All of that is nerd talk for light comes in, but it don't come out. But not just visible spectrum light. This material called Vantablack captures light across wavelengths spanning the ultraviolet to the wide, hot infrared, and all of the visible spectrums in between. Vantablack absorbs 99.96% of all of the light that reaches it. When you view something coated in Vantablack, you sort of don't even see anything at all.
Well, you see 0.04%, I guess. You know they're pissed about that little bit they had to leave there.
They're just chewing at them. Since virtually none of the photons that touch the object are reflected back at any angle, all your mind perceives is just a 2-dimensional void.
Okay, but who the fuck cares? Like, nobody's being like, why is Batman's suit 3-dimensional and not a vacuum? Nobody ever said that. Why does that matter?
Well, I mentioned a few useful scientific applications, but I feel like me defending his topic would just make Tom feel worse. Especially,
Yeah, I don't want that somehow.
Scientific
We can't be
applications.
on the same side.
No,
That's not the
it's-
science.
Yeah, exactly. It would fuck up the dynamic.
Now, if this sounds spectacularly, unbelievably cool, and you're already thinking, where can I get some? I'm right there with you, but the whole point of this story will be based on the simple answer that you cannot get this. Not at any price. The first applications of Vantablack were crazy expensive and super involved, and you had to have scientists and lab coats to apply it, and it was unbelievably dangerous, like it'd blow up and catch on fire. Very expensive. That is no fun. So the science guys made a second, slightly more accessible version of Vantablack. This new version was still bonkers as shit and expensive and dangerous, but now it could be applied to stuff by spraying it on whatever you wanted to just disappear as long as that thing happened. It's very dangerous. Yeah, it catches on fire at the slightest provocation.
Well, and if you breathe it in, it's super dangerous because it's this nanotechnology that'll get all up in your lungs and shit. Yeah.
But it's
crazy,
inky.
crazy.
It's very inky.
An OLED TV. Those
it's
are
so
totally
black,
worth
it just takes a drop.
The blackest black lung. That's what you get.
So it could now be applied to stuff by spraying it on whatever you wanted to make disappear, just so long as that thing happened to fit into the nerd box of scary danger that applied this stuff over its Surrey nanosystems. Oh, and you can't touch this stuff or it ruins the effect because you'll fuck with the nanotubes somehow. So it was really finicky and dangerous and expensive, but it's just cool as hell.
Okay. This is starting to sound like the I can't go when you watch of paints, Tom. Are you sure?
Okay, so for our next thing, we came up with the clearest paint. It's the most see-through thing you can possibly imagine.
All right. And look, the science guys knew pretty much right away that they had something special, and not just for doing like sciencey optics, like space telescopes and stuff, but it was something that would also hold a hell of a lot of appeal, even to people who weren't good at math. But they also knew this wasn't something they could stick in a Rust-Oleum can and then sell at the Home Depot. So they reached out to an artist named Anish Kapoor, and they decided to sell Kapoor a license to use Vantablack for artistic purposes. The only license.
Just one guy with a 2-dimensional Pantone card in an alley stinging you over. He's like, come on, man. He opens his coat. You can't see in it. It's like just nothing there.
What are you holding? Did you say, do you want a black? What the fuck are you doing there?
A little about Anish Kapoor. If you've been to Chicago and you've seen The Bean, which is technically called Cloudgate, but it's really called The Bean. Fuck you.
It's a bean.
Then you're familiar with at least one of Kapoor's works. I don't know fuck all about art, but the guys at Surrey Nanosystems knew enough to recognize that Kapoor, who, by the way, is a famous enough artist that he has actually been knighted for, like, arting good. He was really into the whole playing with light and void thing. As Jensen from Surrey Nanosystems put it, quote, his life's work had revolved around light reflection and voids, end quote. So if you were a nanotube scientist with a super volatile, very expensive material that eats light like Heath eats cheese, it only makes sense to team up with Kapoor to be your nanotube light-destroying art god.
Eat light like an apple.
So if anyone out there has a highly volatile, one-of-a-kind cheese that you'd like Heath to incorporate into our podcast, give us a ring. We'll make that happen.
You know, it's funny. Like, I also would use the word void to describe Anish Kapoor's career, but my way wouldn't sound as complimentary. So. Oh, wow, man. Polished metal Pringle. Very brave. Yeah. Very brave.
It's called Cloudgate. Oh, yeah, because it looks nothing like a cloud or a gate. I get it.
So Kapoor has not been terribly vocal about Vantablack or his exclusive license, though he has said of it, quote, it's the blackest material in the universe after black holes.
Is it?
I've worked with an idea of non-material objects since my void works from the mid-'80s, and Vantablack seems to me to be a proper non-material.
Honey, I like the jet black for the bathroom, but what about a Vent-Horizon black?
What? The medium I'm working in is non-material right now. You're just waving your hands in the air. You're not. I can see you.
The amount of pretension in some of this writing is fucking delicious. It exists between materiality and illusion. This next fucking guy.
Fuck you.
This next
Get the
fucking
fuck
guy.
out of here.
I don't understand what this means at all. But David Anfam, an art curator, added about Kapoor and Vantablack, and I only included this quote because it is so fucking pretentious. Quote, he's so interested in surfaces and colors because they create a very distinct sense of space and many different associations from the visceral to the immaterial. This sentence, fuck this sentence forever.
That's what art. That's a definition.
Vantablack has a numinous quality that fits Anish's propensity for creating a latter-day sense of the sublime.
Okay, settle down, Clarence. It's a fucking chrome kidney bean, okay? Settle down.
Yeah, it's the blackest material after black holes. Really? You know who's an expert about black holes? Post-structuralist sculptors.
Oh,
They
yeah,
know a lot about that.
That's the first thing they teach you in art school.
Say numinous one more time. Say numinous again.
Never say numinous again. So if you're only going to give one guy a license to use Vanta Black, Kapoor actually seems like a great choice. Unless you happen to be another artist. Artists, it turns out, love color. It's a whole thing to these guys, I guess. And when a revolution like Vanta Black occurs in the field of color, it makes a lot of them really excited. And then when they discover that no matter how cool this shit is, they can't have it because this amazing material is only licensed to one guy in the whole world, one guy who now has exclusive rights to the visible essence of nothingness and void. Well, that doesn't actually sit well with a whole lot of them.
Well, yeah, because the only thing artists love more than color is an excuse for why they haven't made any art lately.
You know that color you've been working on? How's that color you've been working on?
And also, people kind of hate Kapoor, but most people won't say it out loud. While he's undeniably respected, he's also not exactly the art world's favorite person. Because he is so incredibly famous, few in the art world who make their living doing art stuff will openly criticize or even comment about him at all. Kapoor is almost untouchable, and even some of his critics have couched their critiques of him by saying things like, Kapoor has, quote, a major ego and is a narcissistic maniac, but his work is so good, he's earned the right to be.
Oh, it's like a really good bean, you guys.
Yeah, right.
It's so big.
Except that, for at least one person, no amount of success earned Kapoor the right to be the sole owner of Vanta Black.
All right. Well, now that I've got someone to blame for why I haven't updated my blog in over 2 years, I'm going to go to an artist retreat in the Hamptons to complain about it. And while I do, let's take a little break for apropos of nothing.
Mr. Smitherson, thank you so much for coming.
No problem. I thought we'd just see what our money's getting us here, you know?
Yep. Right, of course, sir. Well, our newest product will revolutionize the arts. It's the blackest black possible.
Oh, very impressive. Imagine what painters will be able to do with that.
Well, okay, not painters per se.
No? Why not?
Well, sir, most people can't actually use it. It's you need to be a scientist to apply it.
A scientist? Why? I don't. What?
Because of the tubes. It's
The
filled
what?
with tubes that only scientists can keep, in there. Right.
Okay, well, if we can't use it, I'm sure that we can. I'm not sure that we can.
But we created a slightly less black that you totally can use. You just spray it right on.
Surely whatever is created with that's going to change the world of art then, right?
Totally. Well, except,
wait, what?
Except we only gave permission to one guy to use it, and he hasn't done it yet.
You gave permission to use a color to one guy who hasn't actually used it yet.
Nope. Yep. Right. Exactly.
I see. Okay.
Hey, Steve, did the museum guy come with the money yet? Because the girls say they're down, or we're getting another 8-ball, but we need the money.
Greg, this is Mr. Smitherson from the museum.
Hey, I meant just now when I checked the tubes, and they are in there still. 100% in there. In there
because we have scientists here. 100%. You say, huh?
Yep, all the tubes. 100.
Nice. Now wait, just one second. Just wait 1 second. I think I know what's going on here.
You do?
Yes, you gentlemen are doing great and important science, and I am interrupting you. I'll let you get back to it. I'll just throw myself out.
Thank you, sir.
So the 8-ball,
Greg.
Right.
And we're back. When we left off, everyone who took a gap year after college was just about to make art, but they couldn't get the blackest black that ever black. I bet all those artists moved on quickly and focused on bringing beauty and universal experience to their fellow man, huh?
Oh, brutal.
Did you read ahead?
Fuck all of modern art. Seriously, fuck all of it.
Thank you.
All of it.
Thank you.
All of it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll enter now into our story Stuart Semple. Semple is also an artist, albeit a much less famous one than Kapoor. And Semple's mom actually told Stuart about Vanta Black. So,
What?
she just read a story about it. She told him about it, and she inaccurately described it as a paint. And so at first, Semple was really excited. After all, who in the visual arts world wouldn't want access to Vanta Black? Quote from Stuart, "The thing with artists is we make stuff out of other stuff. So when we see something like that, our minds automatically run through the possibilities."
Well, they should have sent a poet.
Hey, after Mr. Numinous, I appreciate this motherfucker, right? Keep it simple, Semple.
But no matter how many possibilities Semple's mind would run through, it wouldn't mean fuck all, because one man and one man only had access to Vanta Black. And Kapoor wasn't sharing.
I mean, first he hogs all the best reflective paraboloids, and now this.
The more that Semple thought about this, the more it just stuck in his craw. Quote, "There's no other substance on the planet that artists are the only people banned from using," he's quoted as saying, though I do have to point out that in fairness, he's very much wrong about that. There wasn't a ban on the use of Vanta Black. Vanta Black is a whole process, and processes are licensed for use all the time. And to be fair to Surrey Nanosystems, this isn't a material you can just throw in the FedEx and ship out. They literally have a special box in their lab to apply this stuff because it is so complex and dangerous. So Semple's outrage is here a little misplaced.
Just wait till Semple hears about all the sculptures out of depleted uranium and Barack Obama's teeth he's not allowed to make. It's crazy.
Right.
Except that maybe his outrage wasn't completely misplaced, because just because Kapoor had the only license doesn't mean that he couldn't share that license. Maybe it wouldn't be practical to just offer Vanta Black to every idiot who wanted it, but he wasn't sharing it with anyone at all. He was hogging the void, and that pissed off Semple. At a talk at an art museum in Denver, Semple was asked what his favorite color was, and he replied, "Vanta Black, and I can't use it."
Okay, but just for the record, Semple's entire portfolio at this point was a smiley face squished between two walls and some photos with spray painted words on them. So a color that turns your lack of talent into nothingness. Like, I get why he wanted it.
I mean, he's going up against the bean guy, though. That shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
So Semple wasn't going to take this denial lying down. In addition to being an artist, Semple was himself also a color creator, and he had created a color that was itself a most of the most situation. Semple made a pigment which was the pinkest pink. This is a pink so pink that you can't properly see it on your phone because your phone can't make the color pink as the pink in this pinky pink. And Semple decided to sell this incredible pigment for $5, accessible to absolutely anyone who is not Anish Kapoor.
The level of spite is amazing here.
I really appreciate the motivation here, but like, the blackest black is a real thing, right? That's a thing that you can measure in terms of spectral absorption. The pinkest pink is just his opinion about a hue. Okay?
So to buy this color, all you have to do is go to Semple's website, spend $5, and then affirm that, quote, "By adding this product to your cart, you confirm that you are not Anish Kapoor. You are in no way affiliated to Anish Kapoor. You are not purchasing this item on behalf of Anish Kapoor or an associate of Anish Kapoor. To the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, this paint will not make its way into the hands of Anish Kapoor." And there was, of course, a hashtag to accompany this. Hashtag share the black.
Okay, that's amazing, but again, modern art is stupid.
Yes. So stupid.
It's like Taylor Swift teamed up with NASA and they invented A440.000000001. And then Katy Perry starts selling B flats on Cameo in protest. This is so dumb.
Obviously, a not at my lunch table stipulation in the sale of pink paint is not enforceable, but that wasn't the point. The point was to create a one-of-a-kind color, to make it very much accessible, and to drive home the point that hogging something really cool was just a total dick move. Quote, I thought I might sell one or two, but the website itself would be almost like a piece of performance art, and the pink jar like the artwork, said Semple.
Sure, man, because when you're going up against Mirrored Bean Guy, your online store can be a piece of art, too. Why does it even fucking matter? Goddamn word just means noun.
Well, Semple didn't sell one or two jars. He sold 5,000 jars. Artists all over began making art with the pinkest pink and using the hashtag #ShareTheBlack. This simple, low-key performance art protest had exploded, and then a picture popped up on Instagram from Anish Kapoor.
Please say I had a stick in it. Please say I had a stick in it. Please say I had a stick in it.
Dipped into a jar of the pinkest pink.
That's a dick.
Was the raised and pink-coated middle finger. Sorry, Cecil.
Close.
Of Anish Kapoor. The reaction was swift and severe. Artists the world over responded, and none too kindly, to the provocation by the Vanta Black monarch Kapoor. In response to Kapoor's pink-dipped fingers, Semple created the world's glitteriest glitter called diamond dust. This stuff is amazing. You can look at it. It's amazing. And it is made so that it can be applied over an existing painting, and which he released right after the pinkest pink. This stuff is not only just completely amazing to look at, but it also has so much ground glass in it that if Kapoor had stuck his finger in it, he'd have shredded that finger. It is a perfect fuck me, fuck you kind of a moment.
Oh, you know, it would really show him if you guys all gave me another $25,000. That's what that'll show the art fat cats big time. The money you give me on my art website.
Also, remember the bean, technically called Cloudgate. This is a huge reflective piece of Kapoor's art located in Chicago at the entrance to Millennium Park. Well, Semple wasn't done fucking with Kapoor. In honor of Kapoor's 64th birthday, Semple arranged a Kiss the Bean event where he encouraged people to show up and smudge up Kapoor's big, beautiful sculpture with their pinkest pink lipstick. An event which only makes sense in a pre-pandemic world.
Yeah.
You can't think of that anymore. That's insane. 204 people showed up and smeared their lip schmutz all over Kapoor's sculpture in defiance of his color-hogging shitheadedness.
Yeah, you sure showed that Chicago sanitation worker that to power wash that shit off. Good for you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there is nothing an artist hates more than hundreds of people paying attention to their
Yeah,
art.
right?
So
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
Kapoor,
Yeah.
too.
You really showed him.
But again, Kapoor still owned Vanta Black, and no amount of fucking with Kapoor would change that. So the only thing left to do was to make a black pigment to rival Vanta Black. Of course, making the color black so black it would rival the creation of carbon nanotube scientists without being a carbon nanotube scientist would seem to be an impossible task. If that is, you had to do it alone. But Semple had not just his own personal expertise as a color creator to draw from. He now had the aid of an entire disenfranchised art community. So he set about making his own super black pigment. He made a black that was sort of good, which he called Black 1.0. And then he did something really cool. He sent 1,000 samples of it to artists and color creators all over the world to get their suggestions on how to make it better. Working in collaboration with those artists the world over, Semple revised and refined his color. And the result was Black 2.0.
All right, guys, the experts we checked with, they all said blacker. So what are we doing?
Less color.
It's a good thing we have that amazing Justice League of disenfranchised artists. Figured it out for us.
All right, so Black 2.0 is really, really fucking black. While Vanta Black chews up and refuses to spit out light across a wide spectrum of both visible and non-visible wavelengths, that neat little quality is meaningless to the human eye. To achieve the Vanta Black effect, you don't have to gobble all the light, just the visible light. And Black 2.0 absorbs 95% of all that visible light. It is wildly, crazily black. And unlike Vanta Black, it is non-toxic, does not catch on fire or explode if mishandled.
That's a nice feature.
It comes in a tube that anyone can just buy. It can be purchased right now for less than $20. and it smells like black cherries.
It's so black that Donald Trump wouldn't let it sign a lease in his apartment complex.
It's so black it can't vote in Georgia.
So black it's orange now, technically. And it's all in one voting district. Black gerrymandered.
Gerrymandered.
Very good.
Yeah.
In nearly every way, Semple's creation of Black 2.0 renders the exclusivity rights of Kapoor to Vanta Black meaningless. Black 2.0 was safer than Vanta Black. It was cheaper than Vanta Black. It smelled like cherries instead of like nerds in lab coats. And most importantly, it was readily available to anyone except Anish Kapoor.
So good.
But Semple wasn't done. Black 2.0 was very, very black, but Vanta Black was still better as a color. So Semple made Black 3.0.
3.0?
Are you reading ahead?
Does it absorb more than 95% of the light?
Damn you, Heath Enright. That is, all right. Black 3.0 absorbs fully 99%.
Wow.
Of all.
Blacker.
Black 3.0 absorbs fully 99% of all visible light. You can buy it, assuming that you are not Anish Kapoor.
Amazing.
For $22.
It's amazing.
It too is non-toxic. It is water soluble and it smells like fresh coffee.
Nice.
He also made, incidentally, the world's mirrorist mirror paint, which I saw on his website, and it looks like paint that could at any point form itself into a cyborg and fight Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Your Vanta Black 2.0 needs an update and then it malfunctions, making it the bluest blue screen of death right there.
But perhaps best of all, Semple then produced a pigment which is basically the exact opposite of Black 3.0.
I'm not going to interrupt.
Produced the world's whitest white.
Is it what? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It's what? Yeah. Guesses to the name?
Whoa.
Heath Enright.
He calls it lit. Lit is a pigment which reflects so much light.
The unbearable whiteness of being.
That's called the Republican Party. This is a pigment that reflects so much light that it very literally appears to glow, since it reflects 99.6% of all the light that hits it. This stuff is also amazing. And like all of Semple's pigments, it is very reasonably priced. But for Anish Kapoor, there is a special promotion. Quote, if you are Anish Kapoor, can prove you are an associate with Anish Kapoor, or to the best of your knowledge, information, or belief, this substance is going to make its way into the hands of Anish Kapoor, your order will be free. We want you to know how lovely it feels to share the light.
Oh,
Hashtag.
nice.
And if that isn't an absolute kindness bloodbath, I don't know what is.
It's so white it thinks salt is spicy.
So white, its Twitter image is an egg.
So white it's on this podcast.
Explains to all the other colors how photons work.
All right, and Noah, if you are thinking, okay, Tom, but if we're being pedantic, Vanta Black is still technically the blackest of all the black materials. And that's still just the thing that Kapoor owns, so he's still kind of winning. Well, up until 2019, you would be right. But in September of that year, MIT created a material that absorbs fully 99.996%
Oh, shit.
So close.
of all available light. And the good folks at MIT immediately allowed artist Dimut Stribe to showcase this crazy shit, which he did by coating a $2 million diamond in the stuff and making that diamond, for all intents and purposes, actually seem to disappear. Actually, if you get a chance to look at this little art thing, it's kind of amazing. MIT has said that they will make their material the blackest in all the world, available to artists for free without any licensing restrictions. So Anish Kapoor now owns the exclusive rights to second fucking guess.
And Tom, if you had to
Yes.
summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Once you go black, don't tell my wife about it.
And are you ready for the quiz?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, Tom. So Anish Kapoor very clearly put his dick in that
Right.
paint before he
Right.
eventually got talked down
Right.
with the middle finger thing.
Yeah, of course.
What was the name of that dick piece? A. Penis to Milo.
So good. So good.
Girl with a pearl necklace.
That's very good as well.
It's a cum thing. C. Cecilie definitely un peak. Or D. Cloudgape, aka
the Peen.
The Peen.
So good. So
Peen is
good.
pretty good.
Oh, God. Oh, man. D has 2 answers, so it's like a DP cloud.
Yeah.
It's got to be that one.
There you go.
DP is correct.
Oh, terrible.
Tom, we talked a lot about
Yes.
the whitest white and the blackest black, but what's the whitest thing that's black?
Oh,
A,
okay.
Metallica's 5th album. B,
It's gotta be that.
Anton LaVey's living room. C, Eli under all that shoe polish. Or D,
Take that off.
Rush Limbaugh's corpse.
Metallica's so great.
It's phenomenal,
It's
yeah.
so great. That's my
You're
favorite
correct,
segment.
you're correct.
I mean, it's
Rush
in my
Limbaugh's
heart. I
corpse
love
hasn't had
D.
time. Give it a year, it'll be black.
Yeah, well, it's the lungs started off so black. To
Yeah, I
begin
know,
with.
right?
Yeah, it's cheating.
Yeah. All right. So I have one more question for you here, Tom.
Yeah.
Why do we still call this shit art? A, because we're all too worried about looking like we're not sophisticated enough to get reflective metal Pringle. B, because painters and shit still haven't figured out a reason for them to exist since the invention of photography, and at this point they're getting desperate.
Wow.
C, because the very term art has been rendered meaningless by our unwillingness to exclude anything from it, even theoretically. Or D, because it's still not as bad as what poetry gets away with.
Amazing. Amazing.
Tough call.
It's very true.
It is the
Yeah.
actual answer is definitely
Absolutely.
D. It's D.
Yeah, with
Yes.
apologies to Eli's mom, it is D.
Well, Noah insulted my mind, which means he is this week's winner.
Hey, after what you did to fucking Heath's mom in the Tetris episode, I feel like that's fair. So yeah, so I'm gonna and in fact we haven't had one in a little while. I think it's time for another Eli.
Oh,
essay.
Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
Yeah. Let's get spicy. All right.
No.
Well, for Heath, Tom, Cecil, and Noah, I'm Eli Bosnick. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, I will be an expert
Oh.
on something else.
That seems very unlikely.
Between now and then, you can join Tom and Cecil in their darkest of dark humor over on Cognitive Dissonance, or you can listen to Heath, Noah, and myself try to make the podcastiest podcast over on D&D minus the Skeptocrat, God Awful Movies, and the Scathing Atheist. And if you'd like to help keep this show going with the moneyest money, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episode, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, you don't hate postmodernism, you hate art through the lens of capital.
No,
I also hate postmodernism.
I think
You can hate both. You know what?
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/get started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get started.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.